Well, democracy itself is at stake. That's what House Speaker Nancy Pelosi has intoned today. She instructed Congress to formally file impeachment charges against Donald Trump. The president has accused the Democrats of going crazy. He has been tweeting like a crazy man too, and they're very entertaining. And he says they should impeach him quickly so the country then can get back to business. Sky News reporter Cordelia Lynch brings us more.
It's an historic milestone no president wants to reach. Democrats have begun drafting articles of impeachment against Donald Trump. So, is he worried?
No, not at all. No, not at all. It's a hoax. It's a hoax. It's a big fat hoax.
But the woman leading the charge says Democrats are compelled and convinced by what they've heard.
The facts are uncontested. The president abused his power for his own personal political benefit. The president leaves us no choice but to act.
It comes at a cost, though, division.
Do you hate the president, Madam Speaker? Because
I don't hate anybody.
Representative Collins,
I was raised in a Catholic house. We don't hate anybody, not anybody in the world. So don't accuse me.
I did not accuse you.
You did.
3, 2, 1.
So where next? A Christmas and a New Year dominated by process and partisanship. The House is expected to vote to impeach the president. Democrats only need a simple majority, and there are 233 of them compared to 197 Republicans. That certainly doesn't mean he's removed from the White House, though. The next step is a trial in the Senate, which is currently controlled by Republicans, 53 compared to 45 on the other side. 2/3 of senators would need to find the president guilty for him to be removed from office. That is highly unlikely. Donald Trump may well relish a chance to pick his own witnesses now.
He could be cleared by the Senate by February and straight onto the campaign trail. He may well use this all as a rallying cry. Impeachment isn't top of most voters' priority lists in a country pretty tired of political investigations.
An impeachment is a stain on a president's legacy, but not always the end. Donald Trump just needs to convince enough people they shouldn't believe or care about the charges. Cordelia Lynch, Sky News, Washington.
Tina McQueen, you know, in a campaign sense, 4 years ago, he painted himself as the ultimate outsider, and he had a job to do, a mess to clean up, a swamp to drain, and he had an economic agenda to deliver poor, white, middle-class Americans in between the two coastal elites on the New York side and the LA side. He's done the economic work, but he has to get out the vote in the United States, and to get out the vote, he has to have grievance. He has to have a reason for people to be motivated enough, particularly if things have improved for them, you know, in a home and hearth sense in their small country towns. Being impeached is almost like a Republican masterstroke, only it's come from the Democrats because it gets his people angry. If he is found to be innocent of impeachment, i.e. it doesn't get up, that's how he'll paint it, he'll be innocent, in February, then he's got a reason to galvanise his people yet again. And I think this is a massive tactical misstep by the brains trust of Pelosi and others. How do you see it?
Oh, look, you're right, Peter. Look, Pelosi should have stuck to her original thought process where she wasn't going to touch impeachment. She was on the money there. This is a gift to Donald Trump, an absolute gift. And I've spent lengthy periods in Washington over the last 18 months a couple of times. And let me tell you, the troops on the ground still love him. And they're very angry over this, I can promise you. And, of course, nothing's going to happen in the Senate. They haven't got the numbers. And those Democrats that do vote to impeach him in the House better be careful when they're up next. You know, this is a gift to the Donald. He'll use it well and he'll go on and win the presidency again.
I think I might have one of the tweets that caught my eye. We'll put it up on the screen for you now. It starts off, Nancy Pelosi just had a nervous fit. She hates that we will soon have 182 new judges and so much more. Stock market and employment records. She says she prays for the president. I don't believe her. Not even close. Help the homeless in your district, Nancy. I have to say, Kel Richards, you're a wordsmith. Don't you wish you could tweet like that?
I think it's a wonderful tweet.
Peter, can I just say, sorry, Kel, can I just say, when she's throwing the Catholic bit around, Nancy Pelosi, let's all think back to her views on abortion. You know, keep that in mind. She's not too Catholic in all her philosophies. Sorry, Kel.
That's okay, Tina. And you are right, Tina, that her first thought was the right thought. In fact, I'm convinced Pelosi never wanted impeachment. She's been pushed by the left wing of her party. What's happened is collectively, just to pick up on what you were saying earlier, Peter, collectively the Democratic Party has become a depressed 15-year-old determined on self-harm. They're shooting themselves in both feet. They only open their mouths to change feet, quite frankly. And it will be over quickly. They will probably vote to impeach before Christmas, and then the trial in the Senate will be very quick and will be over by February. The Donald will bring on his witnesses who will make the Democratic Party and the Bidens look really awful. And after that, he's done so much damage to the Bidens, so much damage to the Democratic Party, that he looks locked in to win the 2020 election.
This is an interesting point about the Bidens too, because you're right, the Bidens will come out of this worse than Trump. People have factored this in for Trump, that someone, Pelosi and others have always had it in for him, that this would probably come up sometime in his presidency. So it's factored in with his supporters. Biden's the only one who could be a threat, I have to say, to the president, because all the rest of them are on the far radical left. But this will take Biden out of the equation, so you will get a radical Democrat candidate that's even better for Trump. How do you see it, Bernie?
Well, I think Biden's out of it now, to tell the truth. The poor old fella just can't stay awake long enough to concentrate on what's being said. The fact of the matter is, and Kel was talking about people shooting themselves in the foot. Well, I go a little bit higher, because the Democrats are about to have their backsides handed to them in November next year, and they've done it pretty much all themselves. Although it has to be said, Donald Trump has done a brilliant job as president. He has brought jobs back. He's brought economic activity to places that have been dead for years. He's just done an extraordinary job. But the Democrats have just given him everything that he could possibly ask for. And if I were him, I'd keep that trial in the Senate going till about maybe August, and I would kick them to death every day until August, and then we go and have a vote.